Today we're going to look at the rules, procedures, and expectations for health science students at Ashbrook High School. The Health Sciences curriculum pathway is designed for students who have an interest in a healthcare related career. The health science curriculum focuses on workplace readiness, the development of industry recognized credentialing, and the development of desirable professional qualities and motivation for lifelong learning. The goal of the health science courses is to introduce students to medical terminology, healthcare trends and research methods, basic anatomy, physiology, and pathophysiology, as well as the basic business of healthcare. The course blueprint that you have been provided will provide you more information and more specific information about your particular course content. The curriculum pathway for health sciences includes these courses: Health Team Relations, which is designed for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors; Biomedical Technology, also designed for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors; Health Science 1 for sophomores, juniors, and seniors; Health Science 2 for seniors only; and Nursing Fundamentals for seniors. There are 5 basic expectations for students who participate in health science education classes. They are to be present, be prompt, be prepared, be productive, and to be positive. We need students to be present. You need to attend class regularly. It is very easy to get behind in these courses. There is a lot of content to cover. We need you also to be mentally present as well as physically present when you're in class. We need you to stay on task and participate in the learning activities. We also need you to be prompt. We need you to be on time to class. This year, Ashbrook will be initiating and using again the lockout procedure. Lockout procedure is simple. It goes like this: the classroom door will be closed and locked when the tardy bell rings. Students who are locked out will be expected to go to Mr. Webb's office to receive a pass to be admitted to class. Students need to be prepared. We need you to come to class prepared every day with the materials and supplies you need to be an effective student. All assignments that are completed outside of class should be brought to class along with materials and supplies needed for that class. You should also be prepared to learn every day that you attend class. Finally, you need to be prepared to make up any missed work when you return from any absences. Students in health sciences are also expected to be productive. We need you to be on task for the duration of the class. Your active participation in class will help solidify the concepts that we teach and discuss. We also would like to see you contribute constructively during these class discussions. Students in health sciences need to be positive. We need to be positive and polite to each other at all times. Learning takes place best in a supportive and encouraging environment. Negativity in the classroom will diminish an individual's ability to learn. Therefore, it is imperative that each student respect each other's rights to learn and to be themselves in class. We consider our classrooms a judgment-free zone. Academic integrity. All students are expected to produce his or her own work. Failure to do so can result in a loss of credit for an assignment or task. In this case, there will be no allowances for makeup. Whenever we consider academic integrity as well as within the context of group work, each member of the group is expected to contribute to the group's overall task. At times, you will need to develop a written contract that outlines the timelines and responsibilities for the individual group members. This information will be used to assess the individual's contribution to the overall success of the project. A final word about academic integrity. Cutting and pasting work from other sources found on the internet is expressly prohibited. To put it plainly, that means that it is not allowed. Let's look at classroom rules for a while. Classroom rules help provide a constructive, orderly, and supportive environment for learning. These are guidelines for behavior in the classroom, and students are expected to follow them consistently. Rule number 1: students need to follow directions quickly. When instructions are given, students are expected to listen and to comply with them quickly. We have a lot of information to cover, plus some really cool activities to help reinforce those concepts. We won't be able to engage in those activities if time is spent on repeating instructions already given. Rule number 2: raise your hand for permission to speak. Classrooms function best when one person speaks at a time. If you need or would like to contribute to the topic at hand, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized before beginning to speak. Also, please do not interrupt the teacher or another student who is speaking. Be sure to wait until one conversation is finished before you interrupt or before you start speaking. Rule number 3: raise your hand for permission to leave your seat. Again, to maintain order and discipline in the classroom, you must ask for permission to move around. It is inconsiderate and rude to get up for any reason and to move around while someone is speaking, especially the teacher. Please be considerate of the teacher and other students and wait for permission before getting up out of your seat. On a side note, there will be times when you will be allowed to get up and move around. If we are working on projects and group work, I will let you know, or the teacher will let you know, that it is okay for you to get up and move around to get the supplies that you need. Rule number 4: make smart choices. High school students face many challenges and opportunities to do great things, or to make some really haunting mistakes. So please take the time to consider the consequences of your decisions before you act. Always err or side on the side of safety and reason. Chances are that if you do this, you will consistently make the smart and wise choice. Rule number 5, and this is the most important rule of all. Above all else, keep your dear teacher happy. This also applies in the cases where we may have substitutes coming into our classrooms when we're not there. If the substitute's not happy, the teacher's not happy, and if the teacher's not happy, then that makes for a less constructive teaching environment. This will serve you well no matter whose class you find yourself in throughout your high school or academic career. Get to know your teacher and strive to do your best to accommodate his or her requests. Teachers are generally very reasonable individuals, so please show them the respect due to their positions, and they will learn to respect you in return. You can never go wrong doing the right thing. The supplies you need for these classes are extremely simple. You will need basically one subject notebook. Does not have to be anything fancy, even the cheap ones at Walmart will do. You will need to bring writing instruments to class every day. These supplies must be brought to class every day, and occasionally, when we're working on something special, you might be advised to purchase or to get something from home. When you bring these items in, we will use them for an activity that will support the retention of the course content. Next, let's talk about grading. The health science classes at Ashbrook will adhere to the Gaston County Schools standard grading plan as follows. Test will count 65% of your grade. Students should expect to take at least 2 tests per 6 weeks. In health sciences, I can almost guarantee that there will be more than that. Quizzes are weighted at 20% each, and you can expect to have up to 4 quizzes per 6 weeks. Homework is weighted at 15%. You should expect to have about 6 to 8 homework assignments per 6 weeks. Most of these assignments will be completed in class. We just call them homework simply because it's the way it is in the grade book. Makeup work. Very important point here. Students are expected to make arrangements to complete any work missed within 2 days of returning to school. After 5 days, you will be assigned a 0 in the grade book. You may still complete the assignment, but it will be for a reduced grade. Tests are different. Tests, on the other hand, must be made up within 2 days of the return from an absence. It is the student's responsibility to check with the teacher about any missing work. Do not expect the teacher to come and bug you about your missing work. Also, if you have had an extended illness or had to have been out for a longer period of time, please discuss any makeup work with your teacher, and the two of you together can work out an equitable schedule. Classroom procedures. How you should properly handle yourself in class. Signal for attention. Give me 5. Look at your teacher. Be quiet. That means that you need to stop talking. Number 3, be still. Number 4, raise your hand. And number 5, listen for instruction or information. When you enter the room, you need to enter the room quietly. You need to be in the room and seated before the tardy bell rings. Be seated in your seat, not someone else's. Get ready for class. That means sharpening your pencils, getting your supplies out, getting your assignments out, making sure that you have the materials that you need to complete your assignments. Begin any assignment that is posted on the board. When you leave the room, you are to remain in your assigned seat until dismissed by the teacher. Just because the bell rings does not mean that you are dismissed. You need to wait for the teacher's signal that class is over. Arrange and return any books, supplies, and equipment. Pick up all trash and drop it into the trash can on your way out of the door. Place your chair back under the table or put your desk back in its proper place. Leave the room in better condition than you found it in. Seating. Students will be assigned a seat. This helps with attendance, and it also helps the teacher to get familiar with the different students. Finally, it also helps to keep students on task by eliminating or controlling some possible distractions. Passes. Hall passes are always a big issue. As you know, at Ashbrook, we have something called the 2020 rule. The 2020 rule really simply states that there are no passes out of the room during the first and the last 20 minutes of class. You may not interrupt instructional time to ask for a pass. The teacher must approve the use of passes. Passes may not be shared between students. You will receive 6 passes each 6 weeks. Your pass cards will be kept in the box at the front of the room, and the passes must be filled out properly and completely before you will be allowed to leave the classroom. You may not leave the classroom without a pass. Lost or extra passes must be made up with after-school detention, and that has to be arranged with your teacher. Responding in class. When you respond in class, we need you to raise your hand and wait to be recognized before you begin talking. When we need to collect work, make sure that your name, date, and period are in the upper right corner of your paper. Pass all of your papers to the front of the row. Wait for the teacher to collect the papers. Do not leave papers on the desk, table, or teacher's desk unless directed otherwise. Work must be handed in when requested. If it's not collected with the rest of the class, you should only hand that information to the teacher before you leave the classroom. Testing. You will have regular unit test, benchmark test, and an end-of-course test in this class. You will need to be reassigned seating for testing as needed. There is to be no talking after test distribution has begun and until all tests are completed and collected. No passes may be used until your test is complete, and you must bring a number 2 pencil to class for testing. When you're answering multiple choice or true-false questions on a sheet of paper, use capital letters only and write clearly. Keep your answer sheet covered at all times, and when you're finished with your test, turn your answer sheet over and wait quietly until tests are collected. Finally, let's look at some emergency drills. Fire drills. You will exit the classroom and turn left. You will head quietly and quickly down the stairs and exit the building at the far end near Dunkin' Donuts. You will gather at the fence between the school and Dunkin'. You are to remain outside until the drill has ended, and once the all clear is signaled, you are to return to the classroom quickly and quietly. Tornado drills. You will go quickly and quietly down a single file line downstairs, again going to the left and down the far stairs. You will go to the first floor. You will sit facing the wall in the designated area. Please note, this school has over 1,600 students in it. It will be crowded and it can become very loud. That's why we need for you to be quiet and to be efficient and to listen for instructions. You need to remain silent until the drill has ended and you have been advised that you can return to the classroom. Lockdown drills. When a lockdown drill is called, you are to sit silently against the wall to the hallway. That is the same wall that you will find the door to the classroom on. The lights will be off and the door will be locked. You need to get as far back into the corner as you can. You are not to speak. You are to sit quietly until the all clear is signaled. If you happen to be out of the room when a lockdown is called, you need to go to the nearest classroom and follow that teacher's instructions. Evacuation drills. The rally point for upstairs is the baseball field at the far end of the school campus. You are to exit the building as quickly as possible and walk toward the baseball field. Go down the sidewalk between the two gyms and wait in the baseball field area for further instructions from your teacher. Assemblies. When students are called down to an assembly, it is very important that you follow the school's policies and procedures. Mr. Clinton has high expectations of the students here, and he holds you to those expectations when you go to assembly. You are to leave the classroom in a single file line and remain silent while you're in transit to the auditorium. You will enter the auditorium silently, and let me stress silently, and sit where designated. Students will remain quiet and respectful during the entire assembly, and you will leave the auditorium and return to the classroom in the same manner. If you do not follow these directions, Mr. Clinton will send you back to class and will make you try it over and over again until you get it right. Finally, I just want to find out if you have any questions. Please let your teacher know what questions you might have, and let's look forward to a great school year here at Ashbrook.